Okay, so if you remember, we've got 200 reps of abs and 200 reps of glutes. It's not necessarily abs in isolation manner or glutes being isolated, but glute emphasis work, ab emphasis work. We superset glutes with a bridge variation on the ground and a standing variation, some sort of squat or lunge standing. And then we switch to abs where we superset a rotational exercise with a sagittal plane exercise. Now I want to keep all of these same exercises in the toolbox today because we had a whole laundry list of stuff, and that's a lot of new. If I threw a whole new list at you, then we're just going kind of overboard with variety. We don't want to have exercise ADD. We want to train. Remember that. So what we're going to do is keep the same list of exercises, but I'm going to reverse it. So for example, the last time the first glute superset we did was a straight leg, foot elevated bridge on the ground, followed by box squats. And then our ab exercise superset was Russian twists with planks. That'll be the last two supersets we do today, and we'll start from the bottom up. So our first superset will be frog bridges on the ground for the glutes. Frog bridges, feet together, knees open, laying on the ground, nothing is elevated. And then we'll hop up and do our swings, kettlebell swings. And our first ab superset is going to be bicycle crunches, again laying on the ground. Coupled with crunches on your stability ball, forward crunches where you push your external load, your weight, in an angle forward, like 45 degrees. So remember, 20 is our magic number. So no matter if you're with me or not exactly on pace with me, get your 20 reps in no matter what. So we're hitting 400 reps no matter what your pace is. So let's get ready for our frog bridges on the ground. I'm loading my hips with a kettlebell on everything we do. So get an external load, get a dumbbell, kettlebell, slam ball, put it on your hips for all of these bridges. Okay, make sure you can see me here. Okay. All right, come on down to the ground. Our transition time should be a little faster today, because we know that we're either laying down or standing up, or we're twisting or crunching. So we kind of know what the gist of it is, even if you don't know which exercises are coming up. Frog bridges, come on down. Weights on your hips, feet together, knees open. And let's go into our bridges. Thrust, squeeze, 1. Thrust, squeeze, 2. Stay with me. Thrust, squeeze, 3. Push up, squeeze, 4. Flex the glutes, 5. Keep your abs tight, 6. Push the arches of your feet together, 7. Push the outside of your feet into the ground, 8. Squeeze and pause, 9. Squeeze and pause, 10. Speed them up. Flex, 11. Thrust, 12. Thrust, 13. Thrust, 14. Squeeze, 15. Squeeze, 16, squeeze, 17, squeeze, 18, 19, and 20. All right. All right, we already know after bridges we're standing, so immediately come on up to your feet, grab your kettlebell, and we're going to hit 20 swings. We're going to make this a wide stance, sumo swing. Extra wide, a little more hip hinge dominant, more emphasis on the hips. Here we go. Power it up. Stomp and squeeze. Stomp and squeeze. Always lock your body out with a strong standing plank. And remember, we tuck the kettlebell in tight. Tuck it in between your thighs using your lats, your rear delts, and your triceps. And then we push the kettlebell forward with the hips, while stomping downward with the feet, snapping the glutes, and we finish each swing standing erect, straight up and down. All right, get your 20 reps in. That was our first glute superset. Now it's time for our first abdominal superset. Back down to the ground, bicycle crunches. Remember that 1 repetition is 2 twists. Don't go too fast. Let's get the first half pausing each rep. Fingertips on your ears, opposite elbow to opposite knee, hold, twist and hold, twist and hold, twist and hold. Stay slow for this first half. There's 3, squeeze and twist. There's 4, shoulder blades up and twist. There's 5, scapula's up and rotate. 6, pedal your feet out, all the way out. 7, keep it slow. 8, twist and pause. 9, tuck your belly button in, tuck your belly button into your spine. There's 10, speed them up. Twist, twist, twist. 12, keep the scapulas up. 14, pedal your feet all the way out. 16, keep the belly button pressed down into the ground. 2 more. All right, there's 20. Try to stay with me. Now we've got our elevated crunches, crunching forward. So grab your stability ball, grab your external load, roll forward, straight arms. We're crunching forward at about 45 degrees. So crunch and pause, lean back, stretch. Crunch and pause, lean back and stretch. Initiate each crunch by pressing your lower back into the ball and by pressing your belly button into your lower back. Again, for this first 10 reps, we're going to get a nice pause at the top. 3 more pause reps for me. Make sure you emphasize on leaning back, draping over the ball, stretching and extending your spine. Now speed them up for 10. Doesn't mean we're going fast. We're not turning it into a teeter-totter. Keep your feet firmly planted. Keep your feet anchored, glutes engaged. Lean back. Remember, this is just as much spinal extension when you lean back as it is flexion when you crunch forward. Oh yeah. Those first 10 reps where we're going slower and we're pausing, that should set you up to earn the right to increase your cadence, your tempo on the second 10. Should feel like that second 10 you want to go faster. All right, we're back on the ground for bent leg, torso elevated bridges. So your torso is elevated. I'm going to use my stability ball. Your knees are bent, shoulders are elevated. Let's start with your butt on the ground. Start with your hips on the ground and your weight in your lap. We've got 10 pause reps, then 10 faster reps. Here we go. Thrust up, squeeze and pause, control it down. Just tap the ground. Squeeze and pause, tap the ground. Squeeze and pause, tap the ground. Don't set your weight on the ground completely, just tap the ground. Just graze the ground. And remember, we try to emphasize on a posterior pelvic tilt at the top of every bridge. At the top of every hip extension, tuck the tailbone under, tuck your belly button in, neutralize your lower back, and speed them up. Squeeze. Squeeze. There's 12. A little posterior pelvic tilt at the top of every rep. Keep your feet flat on the ground. 5 more. Get your body up so you're making a straight line from your knee to your shoulder. All right. Next up, we're making our way to our feet for some side lunges. All right, so instead of a side lunge, we'll take a slightly different variation today. We'll do some Cossack squats. So we take away the stepping from side to side. We just maintain a wide stance. So extra wide stance. Pick your weight up. You're going to squat, descend, and squat one direction. Come back up, descend and squat in the other direction. So you see this is very similar to a side lunge, but we don't step from side to side. We keep our footing where it's at. And remember, this is a glute dominant exercise, especially for our purposes. So really sit back, try to touch your elbow to your thigh. If you're holding your weight in a goblet squat position, try to touch your elbow to your thigh. And remember, we've got 20 on each leg. So that's 40 Cossack squats total. Stay with me. We're still going slow. We'll speed it up for the second half. Give yourself a good hip adductor stretch. Nice groin stretch on a Cossack squat. Sit back. It's almost time for me to speed it up. After this rep, I'm going to speed it up, and I'm going to get 20 fast, or 10 on each side. It's like we're making an inverted V. Coming up to the center, down to the side. Up to the center, down to the side. Breathe with it now. Not getting out of control. We consider this slow. Normal fitnessers might think that this is a slow pace. No, we consider this fast. This is fast to us. To most people, this might be considered fairly slow. Take a look at people in the gym, people fitnessing wherever they are. And maybe they're going fast for a reason, but everyone's usually in fifth gear, skipping all the other gears. We gotta have control at all speeds. Okay. Woo, Nelly. All right, on to our next abdominal superset, starting with the rotational plane. We've got lower body twisters laying on our back, holding the stability ball in between your legs, and then we've got elevated crunches going vertically upward. All right, lower body twisters here. This is a toughie. Toughie but goodie. All right, legs straight up in the air, arms are anchored out wide. Drop the ball down to the ground, tap your toe to the ground, and pull in the opposite direction with your external obliques. So feel this on the outer rear of your trunk. You've got external obliques and internal obliques. We're working both of them. We're going slow right now. Keep your feet pointed up to the ceiling. Try to keep your legs as straight as possible. And we've got 10 each direction slow, and then we'll speed it up 10 each direction faster. We'll say first gear and third gear. Might even be second gear and third gear. Get yourself a nice lumbar twist. Get yourself some good back poppins in if you're lucky. I got a couple more each side, and then I'm going to speed it up. Stick with me now. Whew. A lot of hip flexors, a lot of hip adductors. Speeding it up now. Tap. Tap and twist. I'm going to look over the opposite shoulder now. Whichever direction I drop the ball, I'm looking the opposite way. Ten more for me. Ooh. Anchor yourself with your arms. You also push into the ground with your hands on the ground. Anchor and push with the upper body. Pull with the trunk. Oh, wow, that's a doozy. That is a doozy. All right, we've got upward crunches next. You might feel those in the hip flexors and the inner thighs just as much as anything. That's perfectly fine. That's to be expected. Still an ab exercise, still a core exercise. All right, so now we're going into our upward crunches. Arms straight. Push the weight straight up and pause. So now we're pushing vertically. Push your mid-back into the ball. This is more of a mid-back pressure point. Five more pause reps. Lean back. Emphasize on the eccentric. Draping yourself back over the ball. One more, and we're going to speed it up. All right, speeding it up. Push. Reach. Lean back. Crunch. Lean back. Crunch. Lean back. And there's my 10. We'll grab a quick drink. So far, so good. All right, back to the ground for our next bridge variation. We've got bent leg, feet elevated. So your shoulders, torso's on the ground, knees are bent, feet elevated. All right, feet elevated, knees bent. Oh, forgot my weight. Gotta load these. If you're not loading these, you're not hitting your butt hard enough. Glutes are too strong to do unloaded bridges. All right, here we go. Thrust up and squeeze. Posterior pelvic tilt, tap the ground. Posterior pelvic tilt, tap the ground. Push through the heels and tap. Push through the balls of your foot and tap. Squeeze the glutes and tap. Get all the way up on your shoulders and tap. Straight line from your knees to your shoulders. At the top of the bridge, straight line from knees to shoulders. All right, get ready to speed it up after this one. All right, let's speed it up. Squeeze, tap, squeeze, tap, clench, and clench. Contract, contract, control, control, flex, and flex. All right. There we go. Hop on up. Next up, we've got our low cross back lunges. Probably my favorite glute exercise of the day. Low cross back lunges. Working a little glute medius, outer hips, outer glutes now, outer thighs, and also good for knee stability. So here we go. Step diagonal, across, stay low. We're staying low on these. Tuck your weight in close to your body so it doesn't pull you forward. We're going slow. We're staying low. Slow and low. We never stand up. We keep our glutes engaged amongst other muscle groups. Breathe with it now. Let's want to elevate your heart rate a little bit more. So breathe big and breathe steady. Remember, we've got 20 on each leg, which means we've got 40 cross back lunges total. Still going slow. Get ready to speed it up with me. 2 more, then we speed it up. And here we go. Step, cross back. Get that back knee down, close to the ground. Like you're trying to graze the ground. Give it a little kiss with your kneecap. Very gentle. Don't bang your knee on the ground. Twist towards your front leg. If you twist your sternum and your torso towards the front leg, that'll help you get the correct effect, the desired training stimulus we're going for, which is to hit the glute medius, the outer sweep of your thighs. We're getting close. 2 more. Whew, it's no joke. No joke. Okay. Now, we are on to our next ab exercise. So, we've got our carousels. Hold your weight in front of you. This is our transverse exercise. 2 hands on your dumbbell or kettlebell, feet about shoulder width apart. We're going to twist 180 degrees. It's kind of like a standing Russian twist because we're using the obliques, internal and external, or anterior and external obliques. Stop your weight right at 180 degrees. Don't let it just swing behind you. Stop it with your muscles. Also, keep your hips as still as possible. Don't let your hips swivel with your weight. Keep the hips grounded. Keep the hips planted and firm. Your torso, from your belly button up, is what does the twisting. Brace yourself. Brake. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Put on the brakes. Accelerate. Brakes. Accelerate. Ooh. If it feels like you're just swinging it and not using your core to decelerate and accelerate, then you need to brace yourself a little bit harder and plant yourself a little firmer. Get 5 more, back and forth. All right. Woo, yeah. All right, next up we've got V-ups. V-up crunch. This is our sagittal plane ab exercise. It's kind of like a boat pose in yoga. And a kickstand, my hands behind me for this. Feet together, legs together. And you're thinking knees to chest and chest to knees. So let's take the first 10 slower. We'll pause. Here we go. Crunch and pause, control. Crunch and pause, control. Think knees to chest and chest to knees. If you think about that, it's the same movement, but if you think about it from opposite perspectives, think knees to chest and then chest to knees. You'll get a better abdominal flexion, contraction, and you'll increase your range of motion a little bit. All right, let's speed them up after this one. All right, speed them up. Knees to chest, chest to knees. Knees to chest, chest to knees. Five more. Oh, yeah. I feel that a lot in your lower lumbar region too, in your lower back. Not a bad thing, that's a good thing. We're strengthening that as well. Really, all of these ab exercises, we just call them ab exercises. You're working your core globally if you're doing it correctly, if you're bracing, engaging, and controlling correctly. All right, next up, back on the ground for our straight leg, torso elevated bridges. Legs are straight, shoulders are elevated. Once again, let's start with our butts on the ground, legs straight, load your hips up, and thrust up into your first bridge. I gotta get rid of my yoga mat. There we go. Now just to anchor myself, you'll see that my feet are externally rotated. That's because I'm on a very annoyingly slippy floor right now. So I'm keeping my legs as straight as possible. I definitely would not consider this a bent leg bridge. Get your paws at the top. Get your good paws at the top. That's when you squeeze, that's when you contract, and that's when you get the peak contraction. All right, I'm speeding them up for 10. Squeeze, tap, squeeze, tap, squeeze, tap, squeeze, tap. Contract, control, contract, control, clench, breathe. 2 more. All right, there we go. Whew. All right, back up to our feet for banded squats. Grab your band. Double loop it around your legs, around your knees. Grab your weight. This is a banded goblet squat. Banded goblet squat. Hold your weight up in front of your chin. Feet are shoulder width apart. All right, you know what we got? 10 pause reps to start. There we go. Come on down, hold, and stand up. Descend, pause, push. Descend, pause, push. Now the most important part here, you guessed it, is the pause. The bottom of the squat is the most important part of the squat. The pause emphasizes on the hardest and most important part of the squat, which means we love pause reps, because we love something that gives us even more benefit to something. One more, then we'll speed it up. Even more benefit and even more challenge. Stand up fully, lock your hips out. Stand up all the way. Breathe with it. Get your 10. Get your 20 total. Oh yeah. Okay. We've got standing twisters now. Back to abs. We are hitting our rotational exercise, rotational plank. Standing twisters. I'm going to use my stability ball for this because I like to move lightning fast on twisters, standing twisters. No slow reps, no pause reps here. Just fast action, tornadoes. All right, hold your ball in front of you. We've got 20 twists, both directions. That's 40 twists total. Rotate your torso like you're trapped in a cylinder. Think about that. Your torso is trapped in a cylinder. You cannot lean side to side, front to back. No rocking, no swing. Keep your feet planted. Keep your hips still. Keep the ball squared up in front of your torso, in front of your sternum. Couple more. All right. Sagittal plane exercise. We've got our jackknife crunches. Everyone's favorite. This is the exercise where we pass the ball back and forth from hands to feet, and we always crunch. We crunch to pass it to our feet. We crunch and get the shoulder blades off the ground to pass it back to our hands. We've got 20 passes. So we're not going 20 times both directions, 20 passes total. There we go. Crunch and pass, open up. Crunch and pass, open up. Get your shoulder blades up off the ground. Every pass is a crunch. So get your head up, get your shoulder blades up, And every time you open up, touch the ball to the ground and either touch your feet or your hands to the ground. Passes will be plenty for us. Oh, it's already burning strong. Oh, stay in control. Oh, I had to do a little rest pause there. Oh, oh, we got 4 more. Oh my God. That might be the hardest, for me, the hardest ab exercise in the workout. The jackknife crunches. Now, let me take a quick sip of water. All right, this is our final superset of both glutes and abs. So we've got straight leg. I've got a big dog out here whining. We've got straight leg, feet elevated. So the opposite of what we did last time. Lay on the ground, elevate your feet for these hip thrusts or these bridges. And then we've got standing box squats. So we're laying on the ground, legs are straight. Remember, angles make all the difference. Building muscle is all about geometry. It's all about angles. Same exercise, different angle. Here we go. Oh no, I need to load myself up. Gotta weight myself. Here we go. Hips up, squeeze, control. Pause and squeeze, control. Drive those heels down into your ball or into your chair. One more slow. All right, speed it up for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. All right, we've got box squats. I've got no box or chair to sit on. I'm very unprepared. So I will punish myself by sitting on this kettlebell, which is much lower than a chair would be. So for that reason, I'm going to go unloaded, which the range of motion will make up for that to some extent. All right, box squat means we sit on the chair, then we stand up. So load yourself up. Come on down, sit down. Let's start down here. Come on, sit down. All right, big breath, and stand up. All right, just because I don't have a weight doesn't mean you don't have a weight. I'm pretty much sitting my butt all the way on the ground. So I'm gonna say that makes up for not holding my kettlebell. Remember, a box squat, you sit on the box or the bench. That way, you disengage your muscles intentionally, so that way you're forced to re-engage your muscles or muscle groups aggressively and simultaneously. So it really neurologically helps you work on firing your muscles at the same time and quickly. And remember, with a box squat, keep the same pace here for all 20 reps. We're always coming up aggressively, controlling it down, and we get technically a pause as we sit on our apparatus. It's always an ab exercise. Inhale while you sit, inhale, brace, exhale as you stand. Inhale, brace, exhale as you stand. We get a couple more. All right, nice work. 1 second. So again? Okay, los llaves. Ajá. Pero luego, gracias amigo. Nos vemos el lunes. Okay, now we've got our rotational exercise, final core superset of the day. Russian twists. Let's take it to the ground. It's a conventional Russian twist. We're not sitting up. Grab your weight. We've got 20 reps each direction. 40 twists total. Here we go. We're going to start slow, tap, slow, tap, slow, tap, slow, tap. Twist your belly button with your weight. Your belly button follows the weight. Your sternum follows the weight. Your entire torso rotates as one unit. Don't just use your arms. Twist your entire trunk. Let's get ready to speed it up. Get ready. And here we go. Speed it up for 20. Tap. 10 more. Ha. Whew. Ha. Ha. Whew. Ha. 2 more. All right. Woo. Got some good back poppings in there. All right. Final core exercise. Planks. Simple as that. 1 minute plank. On the stability ball. We're counting this as our sagittal plane exercise. You could refute that, but we're definitely working in the sagittal plane, pushing straight down and forward. All right, here we go. Let's plank it together in 3, 2, 1, and plank. We got 1 minute plank. 1 minute. We're leaving you with your thoughts and your muscle contractions. Quads, abs, glutes, calves, lower back, mid back, elbows pressing into the ball. Tuck your belly button in. Brace your abs like someone's about to punch you in the stomach. Push the ball away from you. Don't sink onto the ball. Push it away from you. Push your fist down. Protract your shoulder blades. Round your scapulas. Stay steady. Breathe big, deep, and steady. We got 15 seconds. I'm shaking like crazy. Almost there. 3, 2, 1, and time. All right. Well, there we have it. 400 reps in a very specific manner. There, we're walking a fine line here. When you're doing 200 reps of glutes and 200 reps of abs, that kind of volume, it's very easy to make the mistake of just doing mindless, endless volume. But the way you structure it makes all the difference. We don't want to turn into cardio bunnies. We don't want to have exercise ADD. We want to get some high volume in a very deliberate fashion. And that's what helps keep us safe. That's what helps get us better results. That's what helps make us bulletproof and keep us well-rounded. So, great job. Stay strong. We'll see you next time.